All right. Good evening, everybody. Hopefully, everyone had a fantastic weekend. I am going to be reviewing the week ahead, doing some weekly market prep. I will not be reviewing Friday's price action already occurred. So I'm just going to be going through what I think is going to occur this week and based on what has happened. So let's go ahead and get to it so we can get through and get myself to bed. So a couple of things, um, just as a couple of housekeeping things. I ended up passing 6 total performance accounts, as you might have known from the previous live streams at the end. My strategy for this account that I've been running up has been to get to 10 performance accounts and then trade copy those so that we can parlay those up slowly over time, doing it the right way. So today I'll be looking at NASDAQ, but after I'm done, I'm going to spend some time charting the micro NASDAQ as well, because I'll be trading that on my performance accounts during the day now. So the concept, I think you can go to ICT, you'll check out the risk management section. I think that's in month 3, either 2 or 3. It's really an important lesson. I highly recommend you go review that, study that, really pay attention to that and internalize that. So you'll understand what I'm trying to do with these accounts as we go forward. So let's get to it. So what do we see next week? First things first, economic calendar. We see that on Monday, and we have pretty much a nothing burger. Yeah, we might get some volatility, but it's at 6 p.m. anyway, so there's no real market drivers on Monday. So we're going to see how that plays into this week and what might happen. So Tuesday, 10 a.m., CB consumer confidence. We can certainly see some volatility at that time. The FOMC speakers, whatever. Sometimes we see a little bit of volatility at 9 a.m. because of this combination, S&P composite as well as HPI. But just keep that in mind if you're trading. So Wednesday, nothing major. We might see a tiny bit of volatility at 8:30, but just bet on that being a day that determines the flow for the week. And then, of course, Thursday, unemployment claims at 8:30 a.m. That's a pretty big one. So we've seen that before in the past. We know that can drive volatility, so keep an eye out for that. We do have some speakers at the in the afternoon, and pending home sales can cause some volatility. I've seen some pretty big moves off of that, surprisingly. So keep that in mind. Thursday is going to be a really interesting day for drivers. And of course, Friday, we have 2 drivers, 8:30 a.m. and 10 a.m. Core PCE price index, followed by revised U of M consumer sentiment. I don't typically see a ton of volatility based on this revised U of M consumer sentiment, but it can be used on Friday to get to the final destination. So with that being said, I need to bring this one over and put it back where it belongs here. And let's take a look at the markets themselves. So I'm only going to start at the higher time frame because that's what I always start at for the weekly reviews. Pay attention on the monthly to the red lines, disregard everything else. Imagine those other lines aren't there. I can't do anything about it. It's NinjaTrader, so don't even ask. I'm sorry, but my charts will look a little bit messy on the higher time frames, but you'll just need to follow my directions and filter out the noise. So where do I think the week's going? So we've run up here, and let me get a little bit more data on the chart here so you can see. So we've run up into this premium area and we've rejected. So this is we're in month 2 of this rejection. We're going to be ending September this month. So this monthly candle close is going to be really important. Do we close below last month's low? Do we wick below that and then close above last month's low? Do we continue to expand lower? Things that are on my radar here is this 14622, very important level, because what I see there is a quarterly, monthly, weekly premium BISI high, and this weekly. When we get down to the weekly, this is what I'll show a little bit in more depth. But I am wary of this old premium high here. Do I think that it will bounce there? Maybe a little bit, but with all old premium highs, I'm going to look for that to either be respected or not respected, and we'll see what happens at that time. So further down below, we can see that this premium 13721.5, that's that high there. I guess it should be 22, so let me fix that. Sometimes with Ninja, the data screws with me, so be it. So we see that that's the monthly premium BISI low. Do I think it'll get down there? Not this particular week. Monthlies typically take a while. So let's go. That's really what I'm looking for, is towards that direction. With the monthly, we've traded down through the consequent encroachment of this wick, which leads me to believe that we'll head lower. So let's take a look at the weekly. Okay, so on the weekly, we have that same range here, right? Last week, we took a nice big, and so on the weekly, pay attention to the yellow ones. Don't pay attention to the red ones here. So on the weekly, we can see that we've traded, I'm going to zoom in on this portion of the weekly, so you can see last week's and this week's and a few weeks prior to that. So, okay, so this weekly, we had a nice big black candle. We dropped through the rejection area of here, went to the consequent encroachment of this wick, and closed there. Very interesting, right? Look at that close, just beneath the consequent encroachment there. So that's okay. I mean, we certainly see that there's quite a bit of imbalance left up here. Do I think it's gonna fill all that? No. Do I think it's gonna fill some of that? Absolutely. I for sure could see this week filling some of that. So I'm wary. Things that I'm looking for are a return to this volume imbalance here, and maybe this new week opening gap. And the reason why I think that is because we've traded through it one time and we haven't come back and revisit it yet, and we have imbalance that formed previous week based on all that downside. So for those reasons, I think we could trade up there. Do I think it completely trades through all that? No. I think that maybe we take a look at. It's hard because you can't really define that consequent encroachment of this gap, because it's, the price could keep on going up and it would be a dynamic fair value gap. So I don't like to do that when there's a live week here, but I am cognizant that it has traded through here one time and has potential to come back up here. Now, when we get down to the daily, I'll show you why. But note on the weekly, we have this short-term low, which broke this short-term low and started the market structure shift. So what I want to see this week is I want to see a candle close of this week lower. I want to see it break down into that monthly level, and that's what I'm hoping for. Will it do it this week? I don't know. It could take a few weeks to get down there, but that's okay. We'll trade the week. Let's go down to the daily now. So same range here, right? We have the same exact range here. We're going to zoom in on these past few days price action here, and we can see so from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think this was Friday here. Pay attention to the purple lines here. So here I'm going to zoom up a little bit. So we saw that market structure shift. We see that the day on Sunday has started to, we have the new week opening gaps there. We see that there's a couple of imbalances that we can reach for here that actually are newly formed. So what do I think can occur? Well, we see this one at a low of 15,127. So let's make sure we mark that. Oh, shoot. Actually, I want this one here. So let's go there. Let's mark that SIBI high. It's untouched. And let's also get one of those here. And let's mark that one as well. And this is a high of 15027.50. That's close. All right, so this is a daily BISI low here. So you can see that we have within this kind of like range, we are still in a premium. Within this range, we are well deep into discount. So let's take our fib and see what this rough range is right now. We can kind of see that this new imbalance here that formed is definitely still in a discount. And actually, it might be more valuable to take it down to this area here, because that's the price leg up that we saw. So what we see here is that we have this untouched fair value gap. It can certainly reach for that, since technically we are in a discount area. So we would expect to see that price moves upwards and heads towards a premium before it heads downwards. So what I'm looking for here is above this equilibrium area. I want to, it's really tough because there's a lot of stuff around here, and this can certainly be treated as a breakaway gap. So we see above this, our first PD array is this new week opening gap here, which also happens to be at a bearish order block. So that's what I'm kind of looking for, is maybe a head up to that way. If we can get through here, that's kind of key. If we can't get through here, then, you know, we'll see what happens beyond that. But it's very possible that this could head up around there at the very least. So yeah, I mean, right now we haven't broken this internal range liquidity that we see here yet. But once we do, I think that'll start to form a new range, and then we'll see what happens from there. Okay, so that's on the daily. I'm thinking it's going to reach upwards until we head down into this weekly volume imbalance and this 3 month and 1 month and 1 week BISI premium. Now, I did mark that there's this weekly BISI low to aim for. If I see evidence that we will continue downwards, which is what I would like to see. I also see that this is relatively equal lows here, so it's kind of suspect. I think we might get there sometime midweek, later on in the week, if we can show that we can come down below this short-term low and not have this serve as a type of temporary support. What leads me to believe that that's possible is that we also have a buy-side imbalance, sell-side inefficiency up here. And I think that bullish order block down here on the daily. So that's what I'm thinking. Let me go back up to the weekly. I want to visualize one thing. So one thing I want to note is that, remember that old premium high that we mentioned earlier? I see a weekly BISI low beneath that. So I'm thinking that this week we can certainly reach towards that area for the weekly expansion. It would take a little bit of selling, and there has been 3 weeks of selling so far, so I'm carefully watching that. So let's go down to the hourly and see what happened. All right, so we see the various PD arrays there still on the higher time frame, but juxtaposed on this lower time frame, and we do see this same sell side liquidity followed by this sell side liquidity followed by this volume imbalance followed by the monthly levels and the weekly target. So let's see how today trades. Looks like Asia's trading upwards for the most part. Yeah, looks like Asia's trading upwards for the most part. So I will anticipate I would anticipate that because our daily discount cibbies are being targeted here, I would like to think that we target up to this, potentially this discount BISI high or cibby high, because I see a high, a low, a lower high, and then a failure here. So if it were to get up here, I could certainly see it spiking up to here and then rejecting to continue downwards. Now that is quite a bit of room to move up. We're at 14,900, so that's 200, 300 some points. So it's going to be difficult for it to get all the way up there, which is why I am thinking that this volume imbalance might be a little bit more reasonable, or even above this kind of like hourly high, short-term high. All those are potentially reachable. I think if it hits this high, it's going to go for that discount cibby high as well. So it's just going to go track that. So we're going to keep an eye on that. If it can just get above this and then dump, great. We'll keep an eye on that too. The problem is if it gets above that, then we'll have a low having been formed, a high, a higher low, and then a higher high. So that would mean on the short-term time frames, hourly and below, we starting to see a market structure shift, and that might allow us to go upwards a couple of times, maybe a 3 drives pattern into that volume imbalance on the weekly and that new week opening gap, and then maybe one final push up into the kind of mitigation block that we see up here. There's a lot of buy orders sitting there that kind of just didn't have time to get out, so they're waiting to get out right here. And I think that's what could catapult us downwards. Let's take a look at the 15. Okay. Nothing really much to see on here yet. And actually, I think what we're going to do is we might stop there because there's nothing here yet to see. We did see it bounce off of and close around the consequent encroachment of that wick that we had a while back. So you see that consequent encroachment of the wick. That's on the daily. One thing I am noting that does not need to be taken immediately, but that I think will be taken, is these Asia sell side lows, or rather monthly short-term lows. So I think that those will be taken at some point. At how early, I don't know. But I do think that we'll end up taking those at some point this week and heading down towards that volume imbalance. So that is it for me this week. I do see quite a bit of there's a kind of a real-time hour gap too. So if you don't look at real time, you can go to your charts and take a look at it. If you don't want to take a look at that and you want to be lazy, then so be it, be lazy. But that is what is driving my potential bias for this week, is a reach up into that area and then back downwards. So yep, I think that's it though. I'm going to go back to the daily. No, I'll go with the minutes. Yeah. So I think that's it on my side. And I think that is where I'm going to close today's review. So keep an eye on the previous day's high, 15027.50. 15 is that right? 15027.50. Yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah, keep an eye out for that. As again, if it hits that, it's likely going to go up and retest that weekly volume imbalance and see if we can clear that through. Power of trading. Hey, what's going on? Glad to see you here. I know you you had requested to clean up the charts. I promise you they look cleaner just on the lower time frame. I unfortunately have not found a way to clean them up on the higher time frames, but at the very least we can see some of the lower time frames. They look okay and a little clean. So not much I can do with NinjaTrader because you can't hide. It doesn't give me the ability to hide a lot of the higher time frame levels. So all those red lines are my monthly levels, yellows are the weeklies, things like that. So I just went through and reviewed what I anticipate for the market. So pretty much, I want to see a little bit of movement upwards into these daily fair value gaps. You can, if you focus on the purple stuff. Um, Thanks, I appreciate it. I do want. I wish there was a way to clear that up, though. You're right. It is better to have a clean chart there. So I do think that it's going to rise up into this area and possibly this area here um, on the daily, and then I want it to. I want it to leave this gap up here completely open and head down towards this area down here. And the reason why is there are a lot of people that went long here, meaning there's a lot of there's a lot of sell market, like on the hedge fund level, tons of sell market there to be taken. So and that would form a lower low than this short-term low. So we want to see that continue downwards. We only have 5 days left in September, which, I mean, I don't want to be bullish at all in this economy, but if I see some signatures here on the higher time frame that we're going to reverse, I mean, that could be an option. I mean, I don't think we're going to, but I'm still bearish for the time being. So I want to see this move down beyond here and into this weekly volume imbalance, ultimately targeting this really, really key level of 14,622. It's a lot of movement, but we do have some catalysts this week to get there. So yeah, I mean, I think that's it for today. I'll try to, hopefully I didn't keep it too long, but with that, I think I am prepped for the week. Again, I've been able to and fortunate to pass 6 performance accounts, but all 50K accounts on Apex Funded Trader. It's a prop firm, and I like trading with, and so I have 4 more ready to pass. They just need 7 trading days. I've already passed them. I hit the $3,000 mark on them, so I'm gonna pass those. Once I'm done with this, again, I'm going to go back to micro NASDAQ, and I'm gonna chart that. So if you don't know what micro NASDAQ is, it's MNQ. Every NASDAQ tick is about $5. Every micro NASDAQ tick is a tenth of that, so 50 cents. It is a way to reduce risk. And if you think about these prop firms, if you haven't watched that Apex video, if you think about these prop firms, you don't actually get a 50K account. Your trailing drawdown is 2,500. So if you're going to use 1% risk, you can risk $25 a day or per trade to make maybe 75. And that's the kind of R you need to make until you hit 5,000, until you hit 10,000, and keep on. That's when you can start adding contracts. You don't, like, yes, you can pass these evaluations really quickly. You can blow them quickly as well. You saw that during a couple of my last live sessions. But I've also, that's the strategy that I use to pass the prop firms quickly, and then I'm going to dial it down and use Apex Trade Copier to trade 5 accounts at one time, so I can lower the risk that I'm using, but still maintain a nice profit each day. So that's what you're going to be seeing this week. I'll be trading the performance accounts. So we'll be running that up in the adventurous journey to 1 million. So let's see how we can do. I might fail along the way, and I hope not, but I think I'm at a point where I'm going to be able to get there. I'm not going to be able to come in on Tuesday and Thursday this week, so this is going to be really important. I won't be able to trade Tuesday and Thursday this week. I have to go into the office, I believe. So Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays will be the only days I can trade, and Mondays and Wednesdays are lower probability days to trade. Monday especially is going to be a bit tough. I mean, you see that we've gone down for the past 3 days. We had some pretty heavy movement to the downside. So I expect a little bit of shakiness, but for the most part, bullish the first half of the week and then bearish the last half of the week. So yep, I will still do pre-market analysis each day and review the day when I get back. I'll take a look and see what happened that week and what I anticipate occurring that day. One thing I want to bring up that is not something that people look at very often is the real-time hour chart. So this is real-time hour chart, so it only operates from 9:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. And what you see here, these pink lines that you'll see, these denote the close and the open and the gap in between them, more importantly. So you can see on Friday we traded up into that gap and then just kind of like died. So I think that and actually Friday it created its own gap here, a liquidity void here. It went down to that void, went up past that initial low point of the Thursday gap, and then we died, went down, closed down the rest of that, and then moved forward. So I do see that this area, this is a nice void where no trading occurred with respect to real-time hours. Thank you, Power of Trading. Let's, fingers crossed. It's been a lot of hard work since October of last year when I first started studying ICT concepts. A lot of people may not agree with it, but it worked for me, and so it's working for me rather. So thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate your support. Thank you so much too. I appreciate your support for being here. But yeah, this real-time gap, keep an eye on that this week. I could certainly see us filling that back up to 15,150, and I think that's very, very possible. I mean, that matches up with what I'm thinking here because it could fill this gap here, move up to that weekly volume imbalance, reject from this mitigation area. There's a lot of people that went long that got caught with their, hands, in the cookie jar. And I think that this is probably the maximum I would look for this week without having a continuation. So that's something that I'm keeping my eye on, that real-time hours, and you may or may not choose to do so, but I certainly do as part of one of the tools in my repertoire. So yeah, I think with that, I'll close out. So you've got what I think is going to happen. Let's see if it happens. That's what I'm thinking will happen. So I will adjust each day and do a market review each day of what happened during the day so I can kind of reset my brain, get ready for the Wednesday trading day, get ready for the Friday trading day after looking what happened on Tuesday and Thursday when I can't trade. I will set this to record though, so that I can go back, and you as well, whoever wants to, can go back tick by tick and see what happened in those minute candles or those 5-minute, 15-minute candles. Yes, you can't see a lot on my hourly chart because it's really packed in there, but you can use anything else. You can use TradingView to look at the hourly. It's just a higher time frame perspective for you to be able to take a look and see what the heck's going on. Where is the momentum going? That's what you use the hourly, 4-hour, daily, weekly, monthly to get a sense of where it could go, and then you use your lower time frames to enter. So yeah, I think I will leave this on. I'll make sure that it records so that you can still see it, but I won't be here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So yep, with that, I'm gonna close up and go get some water and call it a night. And yeah, we'll catch up with you each night around 9, 10, 11 p.m. Eastern. I have a lot of work during the week, so unfortunately that's the only times that I can hop on. But again, Power Trading, shout out to you. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate you, and appreciate everyone that watches this and subscribes. There's been a few more subscribers this week, so thank you so much. I hope let me know in the comments like what you want me to make videos of. I know JP, you want me to make a video of breaker. We'll think about how to do that properly. I want to do an intro trading to ICT concepts kind of video series, but I haven't thought about the sequence that would work best for the simplest description. So I will tackle that, but not yet. So but in due time. So with that, I'm going to close up the night. So thank you very much, everybody, and have a good evening. Get some rest. We'll have a good trading day tomorrow. Take care.